Hello and welcome to the movie podcast review of Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. My name is Daniel. I'm one of your hosts today, and joining alongside me are my fellow wizards. Anthony.
Abracadabra. Did I say it right? I didn't
No,
know.
Almost.
It was okay, but it
missed.
was
I'm
good.
not
It
a
was
Harry Potter dude, man. I don't.
It's okay. I mean, I'm half dead now. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also joining along us is Shahbaz. Hello, Shay.
Hello there.
Oh, okay. That's I'm assuming
I'm
you're
from the Wizarding World, of course. My name
okay. And
is.
you need.
I have to have some sort of a racist name, right? Because that's what J.K. Rowling likes to go for.
I think that's how
I feel like I'd be like
Potter,
Curry Longbottom or something, you know?
Curry Longbottom.
Yeah.
Dear God. I will ask you both though. What Hogwarts house do you guys belong to?
I'm a Gryffindor.
Okay, good.
I'm
not. This is more of a trivia for Anthony. Do you
the,
know any other house?
What's the snake one?
And he's like, oh,
Slytherin. There you go.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, Anthony's definitely,
you're definitely
Slytherin.
Yeah.
I was trying to do an S with my fingers, but I realized my fingers
You're just
can't
doing
turn
gang
that way.
signs, if anything.
You were throwing up gang signs. I'm also a Gryffindor, but there's some more important things to talk about because, as always, you can catch a brand new episode of the movie podcast every single Monday. And watch out throughout the week for our review episodes on all the latest movies and series, including the one we're about to talk about right now. Make sure you follow us at the movie podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. And don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, join our Discord, and write into the show at hello@themoviepodcast.ca. There's lots to listen to right now on the movie podcast feed, including our reviews for The Northman, Sonic Movie 2, and so much more. We also were invited by Prime Video Canada to check out their slate of upcoming Canadian content, so you can look forward to our recap of everything on Monday's episode of the show, so tune in for that. We also have some brand new merch. If you're watching the video version of this review, you will be able to see that Shay is rocking our forest green shirt with the movie podcast logo on it. It looks awesome. And if you want to support us to help keep the lights and the mics on, we'd love you for it. And we love it. We love working with Bonfire. So we're excited to hopefully launch even more shirts down the road. But today is all about Harry Potter. Not Harry Potter, actually. Let me take that back. Sorry. Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore. This film is directed by David Yates, and this is the third film in the Fantastic Beasts film series and the 11th overall Wizarding World film, which is crazy to think that we've been talking about Harry Potter films for this long. This movie stars Eddie Redmayne, Jude Law, Ezra Miller, Dan Fogler, Alison Sudol, Callum Turner, Jessica Williams, Katherine Waterston, and Mads Mikkelsen. Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore releases exclusively in theaters April 15th by Warner Brothers Pictures. And Anthony is going to tell you what it's all about.
Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore is the newest adventure in the wizarding world created by J.K. Rowling. Professor Albus Dumbledore knows the powerful dark wizard Grindelwald is moving to seize control of the wizarding world. Unable to stop him alone, he entrusts Magizoologist Newt Scamander to lead an intrepid team of wizards, witches, and one brave Muggle baker on a dangerous mission where they encounter old and new beasts and clash with Grindelwald's growing legion of followers. But with the stakes so high, how long can Dumbledore remain on the sidelines?
Not too long at all. Now, this film was a long time in the making. If you remember back to the early days of Shahbaz and I doing YouTube videos, we did a review for The Crimes of Grindelwald all the way back in 2018. So now here we are almost 4 years later talking about this long-awaited and discussed sequel. There's been so much that's gone on behind the scenes with the Harry Potter franchise with J.K. Rowling, with Ezra Miller, with Johnny Depp, and now we're hearing how this film was, there were lines being cut because they were related to, the romantic relationship between Grindelwald and Dumbledore. So there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this film, but we are just going to talk about this film for what it is today. Now, Shay, I want you to start us off with your first reactions, and I also want you to catch up the audience if they haven't heard our 2018 review, to give your mind share of where you are with this Fantastic Beasts series.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Wizarding World, I mean, we're big Harry Potter fans, but going back to the Wizarding World with the first Fantastic Beast movie, you know, like I watched it, I was like, oh, this is okay. Like this was a good time. I'm not really sold on Newt or any of the other characters, but there's potential here. I think there's a world that they can kind of dive into. And then comes Crimes of Grindelwald, which, to be honest with you, was terrible. Like I can't think of a single redeeming quality about that film. I also can't remember that movie. I didn't go back to rewatch it before I watched this one, and it never resonated with me. It never felt like it was a good film. It felt slow, it felt boring, and it just felt like it was way too much that was kind of happening in it. Very complicated.
Right. There
film.
was one redeeming quality though. The one actor who I think really, as little as he was in that movie, Jude Law.
Oh, it's sorry, in Crimes of Grindelwald?
Yes.
Yeah. Jude Law, sorry, you're right, was the only redeeming quality from that film. And then here we are with this one, where it's more of the same. It's more of the same thing that we kind of got with the last one. Granted, we're getting a little bit more Jude Law in this one, so that, again, is your saving grace in this movie. But overall, it is the same formula again. There's human characters that I personally didn't care too much about. Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander is not likable. He's very just kind of... He's not a lead character. He's not the character that you think is going to lead your film. And I think this movie suffers.
No, he's a supporting character at best.
Yeah, and this movie suffers from not having an identifiable lead. It kind of keeps moving forward, and you don't know where the film is really going. And you can tell that they had hopes to make 5 films out of this, but they kind of had to wrap this one up because they were pretty confident that this one wasn't going to do well either, or they weren't sure if this one was going to do well. And this movie really shows it. It's slow. It doesn't have focus. It doesn't really go anywhere. And you kind of walk out of it forgetting about this film as you leave it.
Yeah, this film kind of obliviates you as you kind of leave the theater. That's a Harry Potter reference for you, Anthony. It's what's really interesting about this film is that I think with every scene in this movie, it kind of introduces an issue, and then it's automatically, either solved right away with some type of new magic that we've never seen before, and then it kind of moves on. And this movie, yes, this movie is no doubt a step up or a half a step up from what we had in the Crimes of Grindelwald. Because, like Shay said, there's a lot more Jude Law in this movie, and I think anytime he's on screen, he's such an enchanting presence. And I think he does such a great job of playing Albus Dumbledore as you would see him in his younger years, where he's not as maybe... he's not as stoic. He's a little bit more playful, but he's also, you see the sprinklings of who this person is going to become later. But I think where this movie really struggles is telling a coherent story. It's finding a purpose for this story. It's finding a reason why this film series needs to exist. And I think for so many people, and Anthony, I'm going to pass the torch to you in a second. I think for so many people, when you look at something like Star Wars, Star Wars for a lot of people will always be that original trilogy, will always be A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And that's okay. They may not enjoy the new Star Wars as much, and that's fine. But the thing that Star Wars at least is doing now, it's diversifying itself. It's bringing new voices. It's bringing new creators to the scene to continue these stories and to tell different stories, where we've had 11 Wizarding World films, 7 or technically 8 films, which were based on books that were written. And now we're in the territory of J.K. Rowling writing these stories and screenplays where we're just kind of making stuff up. And a lot of it also contradicts what we've learned in the books and in the film series before. And it just doesn't feel like we're having any sort of direction with the series. Anthony, I also want to preface this by saying, Anthony, this is your first Fantastic Beasts film. So you're coming into this film at a disadvantage, not seeing the first 2. How did it feel going into this movie for you?
When you asked me to join you and to help you review it, I was like 100%. I'm going to watch all these fantastic...
You make it seem like you're not part of the show, by the way.
No, but I'm not a Harry Potter fan, and I don't know much about the Wizarding World. I know the characters, and I know essentially what the root of their journey is. I've even listened to the audiobooks. I've read the books and listened to the audiobooks. So I know the world. Is just I never got into the lore of Harry Potter. So the Fantastic Beasts saga, we'll say, never really interested me. And you guys would always tell me, it's really a skip it. There's nothing that you'll learn. There's nothing that you gain. It's not really adding anything to the world that we love. So I'm like, okay,
Right.
let me go into this now that this is now the the podcast. We're doing this on a regular basis. Let me watch it. I'm gonna just dive into it. And even for someone who didn't know much, I kind of got the gist of what essentially was happening from the first, second, and third. And I think not having a lead character and not having a lead character is such a weird preference for this saga, because Newt is supposed to be the lead, but there's so many other stories happening that it just overshadows his character, and you
Right.
wonder, like, what's the purpose of him being centralized figure around all these other things. I think Dumbledore should have been the main character of all
Definitely.
three, and it would have made more sense. But like going into it and watching it, and this movie is really boring. Like, there's no engaging parts of it. There's a political with the storyline
Storyline, yeah.
that really gets you confused, and you don't really care, and it becomes like, I don't want to say it, but I kind of fell asleep at certain points. There are really cool action sequences that really take you out of that storyline, but
Right.
when it's done, and you're just thrown back in. I wish we saw more Jude Law as Dumbledore. I think his presence and his acting abilities and the way he tackled the character did such a fantastic job. Like, I think if they are going to go on with the series or make more movies in the wizarding world, maybe it's best to tell it with him as the main character. Because I think every time we saw him, we wanted to see him. But I would look over to you guys, and you guys would be talking to each other saying, this doesn't work well, and this doesn't work well, and this is so stupid. There are scenes in the movie where they're just scenes that lead to nothing.
Right.
And it's
like filler
scenes.
And it's strange when you have a movie that's almost 2.5 hours have so many scenes that we looked at each other and we're just like, what was the purpose of this? And again, we've said this on the show before, like, a movie should never pull you out and make you question its own reality. And I'm not talking about question what's going on in the movie. Definitely do that. But this movie makes you question the logic, I think. And I think that's where a lot of us were struggling. And Shay and I, being huge Harry Potter fans, we went into this one knowing that, okay, hopefully they're going to take some time. That's 4 years in between the last release. Let's try and make this something that is going to maybe course correct. And there is some course correction. You definitely see the wheel turning a bit, but it's not even, it's like a half turn. We're still off course. We're not on course yet. And I don't think we really will get on course. And I don't think we'll really be on a road or on a destination that we want to be going towards until we really start looking at what this Harry Potter franchise could be now. Because we have 8 films that are beloved. We have theme parks based around them. But now we have the Fantastic Beasts series that even hardcore Harry Potter fans, it's not exciting for them. It's not bringing them to the theater to watch it. So we're in a really interesting spot right now with it. Do we have any other thoughts on this film before we dive right into our final recommendations?
I did want to mention, and I think Shay mentioned it. He hit the nail on
he hit the
head on
goblin
the nail.
The head with the wand.
This movie really, and as someone who doesn't dive into the lore, it really felt like it was being made up as it went along. And I think he said it spot on. Like, this movie just didn't feel like what was happening was true to the original books or true to the lore and even to the fans. And I think that's where a lot of our audience or people who watch it are going to like feel it.
Definitely. Shay, I'm going to get you to start us off because you've been quiet for a little while. I want you to give us your final recommendations for Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Skip it. Avada Kedavra, this movie, it is not worth your time at all.
Thank you very much. Anthony, how about yourself?
This is a skip it for me as well. I don't think as a fan of Harry Potter, you're going to enjoy it. There are parts where you want to love it and you want to love specifically Dumbledore. But other than that, this story is not memorable. Not even, there's nothing out of it that you're going to take away from it. So I would say skip it.
For myself, it's a skip it as well. I think there are too many ingredients in this film from the last two films that really haven't amounted to anything, and we're bringing characters back that don't feel like they're relevant. Ezra Miller's character has like the whole subplot in this, and everything just feels so disjointed and disconnected in this movie. And I think it's just because this movie lacks focus, it lacks direction, and it lacks a purpose. And even though Jude Law is, like I said, Jude Law is enchanting throughout this film, it's not enough. Until we have new diverse voices to tell, new stories, more unique stories, more interesting stories, I don't think, the Fantastic Beasts film series has a future. We need a change within this magical world, this wizarding world, to really make Harry Potter important and relevant and just magical again. It's been a long time since we've had something that's really resonated with us, and unfortunately we got to keep waiting, so skip it. Thank you so much for listening to the movie podcast review of Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. As always, you can catch a brand new episode of the movie podcast every single Monday, and look out through our review episodes and all the latest movies and series throughout the week. Make sure you follow us at the Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. And don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, join our Discord, and write into the show at hello@themoviepodcast.ca. Support us by buying our merch. It will mean a lot to us. And check out our show notes for all of those links and more. That was This Time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next time.